Pokemon Emerald Seaglass is a new ROM hack that turns Gen 3 graphics into Gen 2 graphics. This game is stunning in every single way, from the battle backgrounds, Pokemon, and overworld. Everything looks different, and you guys know how much I love Gen 2. Never thought I needed this, but after playing, all I want to do is just play again, as there's even cross evolution up to Gen 9, meaning you can see things like Alolan forms or even Paldean forms in Gen 2 sprites, as well as them walking directly behind you. Not only that, but a bunch of Pokemon have had their typings changed and movesets, as well as a bunch of trainers having new Pokemon. So let's see what this beautiful game has to offer us. No, Mom, I'm not excited to see my room. I just want to leave you and go live my life. You're grounded. Yeah, right. I'm out. Upstairs, we can find some settings such as level caps, and I figured why not play on hard mode for a challenge? But really all this does is just increase the levels. Also, if you check in the PC, we get a shiny charm, which I think increases the odds by like 5 rolls, which is more than the original chance in the new games. So yeah, this game is gorgeous. Gen 2 style with a little polishing is my dream. It's crazy how just a stylistic change makes me feel like I'm playing Pokemon for the first time again. I need this ball to get away from Mom. Ah, crap. Darn you, Mom, for raising me with morals. From here, we can go and save Birch and get our first Pokemon. I used these 3 a lot when I was a kid, and I think it's the only gen where I've used all 3 starters like a bunch of times. At least like 3 times each. So I just chose Trico this time around, and just look at this detailed background. You're telling me Game Freak couldn't do this for these games? It even shows you the typing when you go to select a move. And Pokemon do their little animation when they finish off an opponent. I love little details like that. Now, listen, bro, I'm grounded, but if you let me keep this Trico, so I can leave, I promise I'll become champion and I'll give all the credit to you in the end. Thanks, bro. Now, like I said, Aaron here will walk around with us, which is probably my favorite feature in all of Pokemon. I also like how the art style makes it look like we're in the olden days of Pokemon, like we're in Hisui or something. Of course, May is up the route, so we go take her on, but if you were paying attention, it's actually not May, it's Lyra. I wasn't paying attention when I was playing this. And I don't really know if this is part of hard mode or not, but her Torchic has speed boost as its ability. I don't think it is, as our Trico has Unburden. And she got a crit, so safe to say that I lost that fight. Maybe I should have stayed grounded. And like I said, we do get new encounters like Spearow. Now, I did go train and came back at level 7, and I thought I was going to lose again, but Erin here got a nice crit, so we gave her a taste of her own medicine. They even went as far as to give us a Dex Nav. Alright, I'm impressed. And apparently this works exactly like Oras, where you can chain Pokemon for hidden abilities, egg moves, and even shiny Pokemon. My next Pokemon was Ralts, and I made sure to catch a boy just in case Gallade is in this game. It is. I named him Levi and kept on trucking. A neat quality of life change is by pressing A, you can see your IVs and EVs, and each Pokemon is guaranteed 2 perfect IV stats. Apparently you can also put in cheat codes, so you best believe we're getting our 99 rare candies, since there is a level cap. We can also use the cheat code to see all Dex Nav encounters, which is pretty cool as you can see every Pokemon in a route, and you can see that some of the Pokemon have had their typings changed, like this dark type Ekans. So by holding A when we use the Dex Nav, we can sneak up and boom, Ekans. I'ma catch it, why not? I named him Rhina because he's a snake. I love how Petalburg added this little bridge. It's such a nice little touch. From here, we just talk to Dad like usual and fight that Aqua Grunt in Petalburg Woods, who actually happens to have a water type. Then we just head on over to Rustboro City, where we can find this wishing well, and essentially, if you find any wishing stars in the game, this acts like a gacha machine, or like a Wonder Trade system. It gave me a Ponyta, nothing special, but a fire type is pretty decent right now. That is, if I didn't forget to save and I accidentally closed my game. Whoops. But it's not too bad, as we ended up getting a Pidgey and a Dratini as well from the well. From here, I did fight Roxanne next, and man was I in for it. Of course, she leads Anorith, and Aaron is only level 14. Now, it didn't use Bug Bite or anything, but that didn't change the fact that Smackdown did a ton of damage, and Mega Drain did hold us off a bit, but we didn't KO when it mattered, and she healed. Or so I thought she would, and I should have just quick attacked. Well, it's a good thing I didn't do a Nuzlocke. With Aaron down, I send in Levi, and this thing's tackle did a shit ton of damage. It's not even stab. Safe to say we lost our first attempt, and I knew she'd have a Lily after Anery. Oddly enough, Rhina came close. Sort of. Anyways, I went to go catch some more Mons like Mikasa, who had 3 perfect IVs. This didn't matter though, because 1, I didn't have a fighting type move, and 2, Dratini learned Dragon Rage. This was able to carry me to Nose Pass, where Aaron was able to do substantial damage. And he should have died, but Roxanne missed a crucial Rock Tomb, so Aaron got the KO on the thing. That Dratini was a little bit of a freebie, but now we just go after the guy who stole the Devon goods, beat him good, and this guy rewards us with a Great Ball? You could have lost your job for losing those goods, and you give me a Great Ball? I know I'm a kid, but I'm not stupid. Moving on, we fight Lyra on the way out of Rustboro, evolve Aaron, hitch a ride on Mr. Briney's boat since he owes us, and Dad tries calling us to come home, or Mom's going to kill him since I'm grounded. Well, he better prepare that casket, because I'm not coming home. I feel like I could build this house in Minecraft. In fact, I know I could. Vulpix in this game is part fairy type, so I need that. Honestly, I should have named Aaron. That would have been perfect. Meanwhile, in Granite Cave, I deliver a letter to Steven, and he gives us his number. I just casually have the champion's number. I'm a boss. Our next challenge was taking on Brawly, and Annie evolved into a Pidgeotto, and I'm realizing now that this thing doesn't have the normal type anymore. It's pure flying type, which is good and bad. For this gym, it's probably good. Regardless, I led Historia since she's part fairy type, and just learned Disarming Voice. And it did a ton of damage. Brawly did go for a bulk up, but it just doesn't matter. Historia was so happy for her kill. Now, Heracross in a second gym is what I'm talking about. Just like that Scyther back in Bugsy's gym. Terrifying this early on. I Fire Spin to keep doing damage every turn, and then Disarming Voiced as he kept using Bulk Up, and that's 2 Pokemon now that have Citrus Berries on his team. He bulked up 3 times, and thankfully when he finally went for Bullet Seed, it only went twice, so Historia was able to get a second kill. Once Meditite came in, Vulpix's time was up, and Annie's was next. Oddly enough, her Light Screen actually works here since Gust is a special move, which sucks. So Aaron came in as the AI just bulked up for the rest of the turns, and a Quick Attack finishes this battle right up. Brawly, it's in your name. You gotta brawl, bro. Next up was Slateport City, and in this city we can actually buy stones, meaning we have a fully evolved Ninetales right away, which should be a big help. This game goes above and beyond, even implementing these battle tents, which lets you rent out Pokemon kind of like the Battle Factory. And they even have some custom backgrounds for this as well. It's beautiful. You know, I always found it funny how you have to pay to get in here while the place is getting robbed. Like, I know you probably need the money right now, but this is just discrimination, woman. Anyways, once we're all done with the Aqua business, we can truck on to the next route where it seems we can find starter Pokemon in the wild. This game makes me want to do many challenges with the variety. Emerald Seaglass just keeps on impressing me. Apparently this guy outside Slateport's Pokemon Center takes you to Pacific Town, which looks a little revamped as well. They even got a scuba safari here. Why couldn't Emerald have this? I did manage to snag Pixis here, and I can't blame you if this is your favorite Pokemon. It's gotta be top 10 cutest Pokemon ever. Now our Lyra fight was a little annoying since I led the wrong Pokemon, but overall, not too bad. Aaron took out Mantike, and for Combustion, I go into Historia as she has Flash Fire, so it works out pretty perfectly. Lombre didn't have any Water-type moves, which was weird, and that was gone. In no time, we're in Mauville City and snag the bike, and if you always pick Acrobike first, then we could totally be friends. It's just so fun. I love how the wheels move in this Gen 2 art as well. The Mauville Game Corner is so cool. I'm glad I checked it out, as this is revamped as well. If you give this guy 2 pinball points, he'll gift us an Alolan Pokemon, so I'm definitely going to be doing that. But this is way harder than it looks. You gotta hit every single Diglett, and sometimes it's pretty buggy. The good news was this doesn't take any coins to play, but then I figured out that if you just hold the handles up, the ball won't actually go through the hole. So this went from super hard to super easy fast. And once all the Diglett are gone, you just gotta hit the Dugtrio and boom, 1 pinball point. And just like that, a couple minutes later, we had 2 pinball points for an Alolan egg. And after some speed up, an Alolan Executor pops out. Look at that neck. What that neck do? But I'm looking more for like an Alolan Muck. Well, I pretty much found every Alolan form except Alolan Muck. So I settled with Diglett here as he's good for the next gym. And I was surprised to see Volbeat is actually an electric type. And I'm pretty sure Illumise is part fairy type. And this is what Watson led, which sucks since I led Diglett. Luckily, Colossal lived enough hits to actually finish it off with some Rock Tombs. Diglett easily took out Magneton, despite being confused, and Manectric was in. It started using Howl, and thankfully we not only broke through confusion, but got a big critical hit, getting him to half. And Diglett was not messing around, not getting confused a single time in this whole fight. And when my prized possession was up, all it did was Cotton Spore, so that was that. Alolan Diglett is the smartest Pokemon alive, and for that, I named him Armin. By defeating Watson, I went back to Slateport where this guy told us to come back when we have the badge, so he could give us something. He gave us the Pokemon Box Link, which is very useful. But I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm reading the script right now, and I totally forgot we even had this. I was going to the Pokemon Center to use my box every time. How did I forget I had this? With our 3-haired little friend, we cruise through the next couple of routes since you don't even really need to fight anyone assuming you get lucky on spinners. And once we're toward the next city, Armin evolves into 3 Florshits with gorgeous hair. He actually looks like 3 little Donald Trumps. I gotta say the wheat growing in Fall Arbor Town is a nice touch. I'm assuming that's wheat. You know, as much as I love Sceptile, let's play Hoenn in a different light. Let's get my favorite little grass starter. Oh wait, maybe not. I just realized Grovyle is part dragon type. Screw you, Bulbasaur. Once we finish the Meteor Falls business, I head over to Mount Chimney. And I'm realizing, have they ever done a gondola after these games? I used to think this was so cool as a kid. Okay, I'll be honest, this background for the battles doesn't match Mount Chimney at all. It also sucks that I can't really predict Team Magma's Pokemon if they're not rocking fire types. I guess Groudon is ground though, so Gligar counts. Speaking of Gligar, Maxie's had acrobatics, which destroyed my poor Aaron. But that's pretty in character for him. Pixis took care of the rest here, and if you notice, Maxie has all of his Pokemon in Master Balls, which is totally impossible, you cheater. I cheated in 99 rare candies, but I'm the protagonist, so it's totally fine. I also don't remember Emerald making Archie team up with us, but I'm not complaining, since they did my boy dirty in Oras. I like Archie better. After that, our next stop was Lava Ridge, and I made sure to grab the egg here to see if it would still be why not, and we can buy some Evo stones here, so I snagged a Dawn stone for Levi, and no idea why his head is black, but I kind of like it. Flannery was actually super easy due to Pixis being a tank for the first half of this fight. Sure, we're neutral to fire type moves, but with Thick Fat, that's not actually true. It's just resisted again. Even with Sun Up, her Flareon just couldn't live. Although that's probably more thanks to the crucial crit. Torkoal of course kills Pixis, but to be honest, if I had just flip turned into Historia, that would have been so big brain of me, as we do have Flash Fire, but I'm just enjoying this game for what it is. I did do this on the next turn though, from Colossal to Historia, and with that fire boost from Flash Fire and Sunny Day, we were doing a decent chunk to her. Camera Up Sprite is so lively here. Compare that to the 3D model, and this is a perfect example of Pokemon who were ruined thanks to 3D animation. Since we gotta fight Dad next, we gotta head back to Petalburg, and in arriving, Nico here sells more stuff based on our badge, I think. So now we have ability capsules and ability patches, which to be honest, aren't that expensive. And now I have to face Dad. Okay, listen, if I beat you in a battle, you're not gonna take me back to Mom. Deal? Look at that spin to spinning, dude. Slacking is the one thing in this fight that's hard, since I totally wasn't expecting a counter on the second turn, killing Levi in the process. The good news is Colossal can knock that thing right out after, but the bad news is Politoed is a normal type in this game, so now Colossal has to take one for the team. From here, Aaron leaf bladed and took a brutal body slam, and since this thing has a quick claw, I used quick attack to finish it off. Dad's Vigoroth did use Slash with a normal gem, knocking Aaron out, but Armin being the steel type he is, used Dig twice, and now we escape our parents' clutch once more. From here we get the HM Surf, which I forgot to mention we don't have to teach to anybody, as all HMs can be used by interacting with either water or, boulders or stuff. And from here we head up to Fortree City, where on the way I find an Apom to replace Dugtrio, and Colossal evolves into Laren, as well as Hannes into Ambipom, who is just a beast with Technician, Double Hit, and a Silk Scarf attached. I used this combo to take on Team Aqua and the Weather Institute. This admin had no chance. And Lyra almost got swept by the monkey thanks to living on 4 HP from Ludicolo's Water Pulse. Honestly, if Combuskin didn't have Quick Attack, we probably would have one-shot. Once we make it to Fortree City, we are blessed with a gorgeous sight. It's a different light on this city where it looks like the trees are carved into to make homes. Not as cool as the original in my opinion, but I can appreciate the beauty of it. Now, in order to challenge the gym here, we of course have to go meet up with Steven on the bridge to get the Devon Scope to seek out Kecleon. And all I gotta say is, what that tongue do? Once that's done, we can access the gym, but first I try touching these shrines, as they should give me a second shiny charm. And it did. Probably not gonna hunt a shiny, but it's cool that that's there. Anyways, Winona was our next threat, and she starts off with a Fearow, and I lead Colossal. A Fearow who has Drill Run, so Colossal is officially out of commission. With that, I immediately send out my best Pokemon, which happened to be a mistake as Skarmory was up, so I switched into Historia instead. Luckily, she tanked it like a champ, and a single Flame Burst KOs thanks to her not having Sturdy. Of course, that Pelipper is going to come in, so I just do some chip and Historia falls. But now Hannes can do his thing. Pelipper goes down, Tropius does as well, which scared me because it set up Sun, and if it had Chlorophyll plus Solar Beam, that could have been bad, but it didn't. And I thought I was being smart with Dual Chop, but this thing is actually a Fairy type. Of course it is. And it's Dragon Dancing, and had a Citrus Berry. Now it's +3, and I managed to get it low, but I feared Hannes was going to die. It went for Earthquake, but no, Hannes is absolutely a beast and lives on 19 HP. How in the world? I'm not gonna lie, that's just pathetic on Altaria's part. Moving along the next couple of routes, I figured out Noctowl is actually part Ghost, which is super cool. It's still a Noctowl, but honestly, I wish it had that typing in the original games. Or maybe a regional form. Upon arriving in Lily Cove, we have our final Lyra fight, which went similarly to the last one. However, I just want to point out Blaziken's stance here in his sprite. That is so sick. He looks ready to beat my ass. And Hannes learned a new move in this fight, Double Iron Bash, which not only gets boosted from Technician, but it may also flinch. And to top it all off, Hannes swept her entire team thanks to her being incompetent, and Aaron finally evolved into his full potential. Now, I did want to check if this new move hits twice, because in the description it doesn't say it does, but obviously in the name name, it says double. And it does hit twice, which is insane as it's boosted by Technician. I guess to not make it too powerful, they didn't make it stab. That would have been broken. But this is probably better as the type coverage is nice, especially with fairy types in the game. After this, we gotta take care of some Team Aqua and Magma business, starting with Archie on Mount Pyre, where he's terrorizing these poor elders. And then thanks to having the Acrobike, we don't have to go all the way around to get into the Magma hideout. You see? Acro is better. Gliscor's Gen 2 sprite is probably the best one I've seen so far. This took some time, but eventually we meet up with Maxie, who tries to tame the legendary Groudon, and since it didn't want to follow his commands, we have to deal with this overgrown toddler and his tantrum. Historia can two-shot Gliscor with Flamethrower, only problem was Bulldoze lowered our speed. I figured we would still outspeed, and we did for the KO. Crobat will finish us off, but Colossal easily comes in for the revenge kill. Ursaring oddly enough had Grav Apple of all moves, and then switched to his ace, to which I switched Pixis to eat a Scald. He could have just went for a Flamethrower to do more damage. A single Waterfall obviously kills, and Aaron can wrap this fight right up. I just realized I have a Black Auguryte. No idea where I got this from, but I really want to get a Cleavor now. So that's exactly what I did. I evolved Kenny immediately, and just look at his Gen 2 sprite. It's awesome. I will say his following sprite is kind of weird. The head is huge compared to his scrawny body. Despite this, he had no problem against this shirtless admin, which I don't know why he's shirtless. It's not intimidating me, dude. Worth noting here, Kenny here has his hidden ability Sharpness, which pairs well with all of our slicing moves, and he's holding a Razor Claw, which ups critical hit chance, and pair that with Stone Axe and Night Slash that have high crit rates, plus Sharpness. Cleaver is one scary mon. By defeating this frat boy, the guy blocking the sea with his Whelmers are gone, and we can continue with our gym challenge into Moss Deep City. Something about Weird Ear's sprite is really cool. The gray colors in Gen 2 just look really nice, and its stance is pretty neat, how it looks like it's charging. Tate and Liza start off with these two, and Claydol is way more crazy, being a ground type, so I just target that slot to take it out, but oddly it did outspeed Cleavor for chip. Once that's done, Lunatone is in. The next turn is pretty bad as Miss Mage's Moonblast Kenny to death, and Lunatone uses Hypnosis on Rhina. And I love how they both react to killing Cleavor. Now Hannes is so fast that we just outspeed to revenge kill since we have a steel type move. Another double Iron Bash would have KO'd the Moon, but she had a Citrus Berry. Luckily Rhina woke up to finish it off, and Solrock followed after that. You'd think the champion of the region would take on the leader of the evil team, or I guess ex-champion, but no, he decides I should, a teenager. This fight actually wasn't hard at all, despite him having a bunch of good Pokemon, like this Ursaluna. Okay, well it was easy until Ursaluna, since our two leads finally bit the dust there. But once those two were down, it scaled back down to easy thanks to Maxie's AI being just horrendous. And with our victory, we get a nice little surprise. Pixis is finally a Walrein. Been a long time coming, but he's beautiful. Just need to whiten them teeth. From here we go track down Team Aqua Submarine. Again, don't know why Steven can't do it. He's totally capable. Ah, screw it. I got an Ambipom. I do find it weird that Archie has less Pokemon than Maxie. Okay, I can see why Steven sent me to do this alone. Still, putting me in danger with this legendary Pokemon is a bit careless. Shit, I mean, even Maxie cares about my safety more. With both Groudon and Kyogre awakened, the end of the world is imminent as they battle in Sootopolis. Maybe if I stand between them and reason with them, they'll stop. That didn't work. Let's try something different. Nice little dragon. I'm just here to tame you. Alright, fine. Go do it yourself. This was definitely the most epic thing in Pokemon back then. Dialga and Palkia don't even come close. And this lasted literally only like 2 seconds. Although Zekrom and Reshiram's entrance is pretty cool. And that's it. World saved. So for Juan, I did switch out Aaron for Sasha as I wanted to use my lovely Venusaur. And this was a mistake. Juan leads a Starmie. Son of a... Of course, he went for that Psychic type move, but oddly enough, we lived to take it out with a Petal Dance, but being locked into Petal Dance means Kingdra just Ice Beams away with an Ice Gem on it. Now, I did switch into Historia on the off chance we can outspeed, but these level caps are weird since we're on hard mode. It doesn't actually set the level cap to the ones on hard mode, so I'm 3 levels under him. Luckily, Ninetales is super fast and lives a Water Pulse, but unluckily, we got confused and hit ourselves. Hannes was our next best option, as this monkey can take on anything, and with Kingdra down, Octillery was in. I thought we would have outdamaged this thing, but no, it has Aura Sphere for some reason. It gave it freaking Aura Sphere? Sorry, Hannes. I send in Kenny next, as he could Stone Axe for rocks on the field. And Wishcast is in looking like Mr. Popo. Think Arceus Wishcast is abysmal, as even a rain-boosted Water Pulse could not take out Cleaver, and his final Pokemon was just a Celio. It definitely could have been a Walrein. And we actually one-shot it, since Stone Axe is super effective. Didn't think Cleavor would be the one giving the finishing blow there, but hey, whatever works. That was one of the more harder fights, kind of. All that needed to be done now was take on the Elite Four. So we speed over to Victory Road, pummel Wally a second time, thanks to horrible Altaria AI. The rest of Victory Road was fine, however this double battle near the end was scary as there was a slacking, and to make matters worse, I targeted Gardevoir, meaning now there's 2 slackings on the field. Well, it can't get any worse, can it? Earthquake? Oh, that did nothing. That's odd. On top of that, we were immobilized by love with these things, but somehow Historia and Kenny didn't end up dying. Wasting no time, I marched into the Pokemon League, and first up is Sydney. So naturally, I led Levi, who actually doesn't get intimidated by Mightyena. That went down easy, and in came Honchkrow with Double Team. But Pixis is locked in and aimed down his Ice Beam into this crow's throat for the KO. Absol was a little snake, having not only a Citrus Berry, but Rock Slide after Sword Stance, for literally no other reason than to just be annoying. I swapped Levi back in on one, and that was down. Levi was the one that was down, since we missed, and it slashed. Kenny is indeed the Ripper though, as he lived on 29 HP from the Rock Slide, and retaliates with a nice X-Scissor. Crawdon doesn't live a single one, and if that didn't live, the Cactus ain't living either. Good stuff, Kenny. Up next is Phoebe, and we would have been fine with Kenny again, however we got confused, so Hannes switched in on a Protect and finished it off. Dusknoir kind of scared me, but since we flinch every time, this was an easy cleanup. I love this two-tailed monkey. I really like Banette's Gen 2 sprite as well. Kind of creeps me out, but in a good way. I thought Miss Mages wouldn't die to a double Iron Bash, but it's part fairy, so that's a one-shot as well, or I guess a two-shot in this case. Now, I would have actually fully swept here since Froslass is Phoebe's last Pokemon, but I'm out of PP on double Iron Bash since Dusknoir has the ability Pressure. But regardless, Pixis took over. Now let's see if Hannes can truly get his sweep off, as Glacia is up next. I did double hit Dugong as it's part water, so double Iron Bash would be neutral. Same thing goes for her Wall Rain, and unfortunately it has a Citrus Berry, which means Hannes' sweep was not happening. Levi can easily come into Revenge Kill though. And her next 2 Pokemon were Cake, and the only reason Glalie killed was probably because Avalanche did 120 damage. Regardless, that fight was won from the beginning. The last Elite Four member is Drake, and although I did lead wrong, Kingdra went for a Dragon type move, which Historia is immune to thanks to that Fairy typing. I did think we would kill with Moonblast, but we just didn't, and this nearly KO'd Ninetales. Honestly, I don't know how a Hydro Pump from a Kingdra doesn't one-shot Ninetales. But we won that, so I can't complain. Salamence does outspeed for the KO, which surprised me as well, and even more so his Moxie ability. So Pixis, he's all yours. Luckily there was no Yachi Berry, and Ice Beam decimates the dragon. Altaria was up next, and I've fought this thing 3 times. And every single time I fight an Altaria, the AI just Dragon Dances, and this was no different. However, I forgot it's not flying type anymore, and our critical hit Ice Beam almost KO'd, but then it just aerial aced. What is with the Altaria AI in this game? Now, there's no way Pixis lives an EQ from Flygon, and this is where Aaron comes in. We unleash the beast inside him and outrage away. That is, if Drake didn't whip out a 180 and send in a Steelix. What the? Luckily, I did have a Prism Berry on Aaron for the confusion, and I had EQ on him, but still, that did nothing since he was Iron Defensing. At +6 defense, my only hope for Aaron to come out on top was to critical hit Leaf Blade, but we only did it once and Aaron falls. Damn, I wanted him to win that. Alright, Levi, clean up Aaron's mess. With that, only Wallace was next. And let me know, do you guys like Wallace or Steven more as champion, and do you like mono team champions? I personally like Steven more, and I don't know, I kind of like the mono typing, but variety is probably better. Anyways, Wallace's level jumps a bit as he leads a level 61 Whale. Aaron tries to redeem himself again, but he can't even one-shot Wailord and dies to a Blizzard. Unfortunately, the one fairy type to come onto the field is a water type one. I know he's a mono type trainer, but still, I thought they'd change the team a bit. So I had to switch into Levi, who actually almost one-shot my Milotic, but ultimately ended up dying. Once my Milotic was weak enough for Hannes to take care of it, it falls. Ludicolo falls super easily, but it did get a lead seed on us, so now we're on a timer. Surprisingly, Hannes almost one-shot with double hit thanks to a crit. Man, that was close. And now we're on even more of a timer thanks to Toxic. With Tentacruel off the field, Gyarados comes in to intimidate, so Hannes' time is so done after this. I didn't really know what to do since this monster is just faster than Kenny, who's the only one who can really deal with him. But I went into him anyways, and this man straight up goes for Dragon Dances, which was a huge mistake because Kenny straight up crits with a Stone Axe. Looks like that Razor Claw really came into effect here. Now obviously Wishcash takes out Kenny eventually, but thanks to another critical hit, we almost had him. And the one to deal the finishing blow on Wallace is Commander Pixis himself. Good job, sir. I definitely want to do some different challenges in this game, and this was a breath of fresh air for me right now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and you guys should totally check out this game. I'm sure you'll love it as much as I have.